Hi kids, today we're going to be looking at probability. What is probability, you may be asking? Probability is the likelihood of an event or outcome happening. And we use this formula whenever we're trying to find the probability. The number of desired outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. And I'm going to explain. And here we have a chart that is showing us and explaining to us probability. The first circle, it has equal chance. Here's what this means. You have green, blue, red, and yellow. That means you can either choose yellow, green, blue, or red because each of them is only there once. They're only there once. The second circle has more likely. It's more likely to choose blue than green. Here's why. There's more blue in your circle than green. The third circle says less likely. It's less likely to get blue because there is more yellow than blue. The fourth circle has 50-50 chance. That means there's an equal chance of you choosing blue or green because each of them is only there once, half and half. The last one says impossible. It's impossible to get any other color than blue because only blue is there. Now, when you're doing probability, your answer can be written in two ways, 3 over 4 or 3 out of 4. Now, just like with fractions, we know this is called the denominator and this is called the numerator. When you're trying to find your denominator, just like with fractions, you are going to add up or count how many are there in total, and that will give you your denominator. And then this 3 out of 4 is your desired outcome. So that will give you your numerator. And here we have an example with socks. The question says, what is the probability of choosing a green sock? So here's the trick for doing probability. Anytime you get probability, you always find out how many items you have in total. So we need to count how many socks are there in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I realize we have 8 socks in total. So I need to put that on the side so that I can remember that. Now, I need to go back to my question and figure out which color they asked me for. They asked you for green. So we need to go back to our socks and figure out how many socks are green. So let's go through each one. We're going to start with the blue sock here. That's not green. The second one is green, so we're going to circle that. This is not green. This is not green. This is green. This is not green, this is not green, and this is not green. So we have 2 socks that are green. Remember, when you're doing probability, you can write it 2 ways. 2, because we have 2 green socks. And anybody remember how we get our denominator? You count how many socks are there in total, like we did at the beginning, and we realize there are 8 socks in total. So that should be 2 over 8. Or you can write it the second way, 2 out of 8. Here we have a spinner and it says, what is the probability of picking the color green? So we have green again. The same thing applies. We have to figure out how many spaces are on the spinner. That's what we have to count. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in this spinner, we have 8 spaces in total. So we're going to put that number there so that we can remember. We go back to our problem and we try to figure out which color are they asking us for. They are asking us for green. So we need to go back to our circle now and count how many spaces are green. So let's count green only. 1, 2, 3. So we see that we have 3 spaces that are green. So we're going to write our answer as 3 over 8, or 3 out of 8. And you can choose whichever way you want to write your answer. Next, it says, what is the probability of picking the color red? Again, we have to count how many spaces we have in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 spaces in total. Go back to your problem and see what they are asking you for. They are asking you for the color red. Go back to your spinner now and figure out how many red you have on your spinner. You only have one red. So your answer should be 1 over 8, or 1 out of 8. Remember, you're not writing all 2 of them. You choose whichever way you want to write your answer. Next, it says, which color has the greatest probability of being chosen? Here is where you have to actually look at your spinner properly, and you're trying to see which color is on your spinner the most. Which color do you see the most of? So we're going to go through all. Here we only have 1 red. Here we have 2 yellow. So that's 2 yellows. Here we have 2 blue. Here we have 1, 2, 3. 3 green. So which color do you have the greatest probability of choosing? If you said green, you are correct. Green, because it is there the most. If they had asked which color has the least probability of being chosen, which color do you think you would say? If you said red, you are correct. It's red because it's only there once. So that has the least probability. The one with the greatest probability is the color that you see the most of, and that's green. So here is a different example now. Instead of colors, we're looking at numbers. And it says, what is the probability of the spinner landing on the number 5? The same rule applies for when we did the spinner with the colors. You have to look for the number 5. So we're looking for our number 5 because that is what our question asked us. So we see that we have how many 5s? 1, 2. We have 2 5s. So we're going to put that there just as a reminder. Now, just like with the spinner with the colors, you have to count how many spaces you have there all together. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 spaces in total. And a little trick for you is you can either make a little dot so that you do not count a space more than once. So we have 9 spaces here in total. And the question says, what is the probability of the spinner landing on 5? We already know that we have 2 5s. So your answer should be 2 over 9, or if you chose to write it in the other form, 2 out of 9. Remember, it's up to you how you want to write your answer. Let's look at the next problem. What is the probability of the spinner landing on the number 3? The same rule applies. Anytime you get probability, count how many spaces you have there in total before you do anything. So let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We know we have 9 spaces. My question is asking us for the probability of the spinner landing on 3. We have to ask ourselves, how many number 3s do we have there? 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 3 over 9, or 3 out of 9. Now, before we end this, I want to ask you a question. What is the probability of choosing the number 1? Again, you look to see how many number 1s you have. You know how many spaces you have in total. So if you said 2 out of 9, you are correct. Now, for this example, it says, what is the probability of the spinner not landing on the number 3? And our key word here in this problem is the word not. So we're going to underline that so that we remember we're looking for not the number 3. Again, you have to find out how many spaces you have in total. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, we have 9 spaces in total. Now, our problem says, what is the probability of the spinner not landing on the number 3? You can do this 2 ways. Let's see how many number 3s we have. We have how many number 3s? 1, 2, 3. So we know we have 3 number 3s. Now, you can either subtract the number 3 from your total 9, or another thing you can do is just count how many spaces do not have the number 3. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your answer for this problem is 6 over 9, or 6 out of 9. Remember, your clue word there is not 3. So you're telling me with this answer there are 6 spaces that do not have the number 3 in it.